Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory special playoff edition episode, bringing you all things the divisional round. Be sure to catch us next week for conference championship coverage, Super Bowl previewing as well, that will be. Um, yeah, we're talking today about an NFC divisional round matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. Tad, your Vikes were very salty against these Rams, and well, things go full circle as they go into Philly, which they got butt-sawed in this game out of the playoffs. And yeah, Tad, we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles here because honestly, late into this game, the Rams did have a little bit of fight into them, but all in all, the Eagles pretty much did control the tempo of this game for the most part. Starting with Jalen Hurts, 15 of 20, 128 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Tad, what 7 sacks allowed by this Philadelphia offensive line, yet they still find a way to win. Don't know if that's going to par up against their division rivals, the Commanders, next week, but we shall see. And then, yeah, Tad, you got Saquon Barkley here, 26 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he has now therefore earned the name Snoquan Barkley for this particular
No
football game.
Quan Barkley.
Tad, there was a play in this game where, um, there was some angles and footage of it where, Saquon told Jalen, hey, I got this, give me the ball, I got this. And you give Saquon Barkley the ball and he bursts upfield and makes the big explosive play, which led to a touchdown. Emotionally speaking, Tad, like, what does that mean for Jalen Hurts knowing that you got a guy like Saquon Barkley right there that you could truly count on in a moment like that?
I mean, I think that he's just laid it out all year. Saquon Barkley, he's been the guy. He's been willing to take the lead, and he's also been willing to be a leader of this football team, both with his play, with his the way he carries himself as a human being. That's an often under valued aspect of what happens in the NFL. That these are human beings out here, and I mean, sure, the Eagles' passing game it hasn't been the same since Hurts has been injured, and now he's coming back, and it seems like the numbers they might not be what you'd expect out of a passing game, but with that being said, I mean, Saquon Barkley has been completely willing to take the lead there. He's been willing to step up and do his thing. And I think that that speaks tremendously to his character, both as a football player and as a person. I mean, just incredible effort by Saquon Barkley, one of the best playoff games in the snow. He goes out, he does his thing. So just great going there. And real quick, I'd like an opportunity to touch on the 7 sacks and stuff that you'd brought up earlier. I think a lot of that has to do with just the dominance of the Rams defensive line. I mean, they actually held up better than the Vikings did. The Vikings gave up 9 sacks, and now that's 16 sacks in 2 playoff games, which is one of the best runs of sacks in a single playoffs in NFL history. So just a lot of credit goes to the Rams for that effort, I'd say.
Fair enough. Tad, you have told me before that you have gone to college football games at one point in your life when Saquon Barkley was in college. You saw him play live, and you told me something very specifically about Saquon Barkley that we're still seeing in today's game. Um, what was your take on seeing Saquon Barkley live when he was in college?
Yeah, I mean he was I had the opportunity to see him live in Iowa City, and he is by far the greatest college player I've had the opportunity to witness live. I mean, just the plays he makes, the hurdles. I mean, he's been doing this since he's he's always been doing this.
Saquon Barkley's had um is a MVP candidate. We did have finalists get revealed for awards. I would personally vote for Saquon Barkley for the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the running backs they don't get enough representation. It's turned into a quarterback award, which we here at the Gridiron Glory we think that that's a bit much, and that they need to give other positions an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think that what Barkley has done this year it stands the test of time.
Yes, absolutely, Tad. Also looking at it here. Um, yeah, Saquon Barkley. He's amazing at football. It's just that simple. Dallas Carter, four catches, 56 yards. Jalen Hurts and Cooper DeJean did get that fumble. Though, Tad, I was very impressed on the defensive side of the ball. Quinyon Mitchell, also your guy, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter as well. Probably the most standout performance. Jalen Carter, 5 solo tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 pass deflections, 3 hits on the quarterback. We're looking at Jalen Carter here. Yeah, the second year pro out of Georgia, former first round pick. 25 solo tackles, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Yes, Tad, where would you rank Jalen Carter amongst defensive tackles in the league?
I mean, certainly up and coming, he's turning into one of the most feared forces in the league, and I think that it's quite possible that before the end of his career he'll win a defensive player of the year.
I would love to see that for Jalen Carter, and I certainly do believe that he has that potential. Um, for the Rams, yeah, Kyron Williams, 19 carries, 106 yards. Puka Nakua, 6 catches for 97 yards. Cooper Cup probably didn't get involved as much this season as he would have liked, which was a
Yeah.
big problem probably for the Rams overall, despite the 10-7 record. Um, yeah, apparently Jared Verse had emotional feelings towards the Eagles, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, he goes out there 4 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. Yeah, 2 hits on the quarterback. Tad, what was your take on Jared Verse in this game? I think he
Yeah.
played extremely
The
well.
Rams defense, I mean, I think they held it about as well as they could. They gave the Rams every opportunity to come back in the football game. You get, like you said, the 7 sacks, you get the 2 from Burst, and then 5 apiece from the other players. I mean, just an incredible defensive effort. And I mean, the Rams team, when they're fully healthy, they are a legitimate threat, as we saw in the playoffs. I mean, they definitely pushed the Eagles to the brink, and I mean, you get to the point where you have a chance to go win the game, and I mean, obviously it's the Eagles defense. They end up making the play, they make the stand at the end of the game, but the Rams, I mean, they came to play, they gave it their all. Matt Stafford does what he does, the veteran leader, seasoned veteran leader, and it's going to be interesting, Will, to see what Matt Stafford does. He's been very non-committal about his future, about if he's going to give it another go, if he's going to call it a career. And I mean, we obviously have no insight on what is going on in Matthew Stafford's brain. Only he knows that. But I mean, he's certainly had a spectacular career if this is it.
If this is it, Tad, I mean, he's really got nothing left to prove. To me, he's a Hall of Famer caliber quarterback, and the Super Bowl ring kind of solidified that. I mean, let's not forget all those amazing seasons he had in Detroit.
Yeah, a
So,
lot of fabulous statistical seasons that obviously kind of just get lost in the wayside of history because that was some very not well constituted Detroit rosters to say it friendly. it was some rough seasons from a win-loss perspective in Detroit, but Matthew Stafford was still out there putting forth some of the best passing numbers that you've seen. I mean, I think he's been an incredible quarterback throughout his career, and certainly he's earned a lot of respect.
He's earned a lot of respect, Tad. I mean, an incredible quarterback, just an upstanding guy, very humble, an incredible leader. I mean, yeah, and I mean, but not only that, but even Tad, we talked about like Detroit and everything.
Mhm.
Emotionally speaking, Tad, like you have no like. I mean, we don't even realize like how many I've seen like films of him like being mic'd up and stuff, and like just his hype and his energy that he would bring to like, you know what I mean. Some of those even
Yeah,
like the crappiest of times in Detroit, he's still like the spark for that team, the fire for that team. Just if there's anything that Matthew Stafford ever was as a quarterback, it's a leader, a damn leader.
leader. He's a leader, a competitor. He always wants to win, and he's willing to put himself on the line to do that. He's always been willing to do that.
So if this is it for a career for Matthew Stafford, it's been one hell of a one, and I'm so happy that we got to be a part of it.
Agreed. It's been incredible. So
I
with that being said, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty about the Rams about what they do moving forward. Do you have your quarterback for next year, or do you need to start thinking about what's next? Obviously, you need to start thinking about what's next, even if he does come back. I mean, it's not going to be for a long time. So, a lot of questions there. What do you want to do for the Rams? There's a lot of ways they could go.
well, when it comes to the Los Angeles Rams, Tad, we're looking at them here, and you're gonna have the 26th overall pick.
Yeah,
So if this is it for Stafford, then you need to start going after your next guy, I guess, would be really the biggest thing I can think of.
probably worth considering. I don't know if they'll believe that there's a franchise guy available that late.
I mean,
Maybe
you do
there
have
is, maybe there's
Stetson
not.
Bennett. I mean, not. I don't want to uh, dissuade from the fact that you also have Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett on your roster. Where would you rank Stetson Bennett amongst backups?
Yeah, I mean Stetson Bennett, he's won national championships with loaded Georgia teams. So we'll see if he gets much of a shot. Yeah, not really sure. I don't think he's really played in the NFL yet. So it'll be really interesting to see what
But
goes
what
on
I'm saying is like, do
with
you believe that
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett could be like the future quarterback for this franchise?
I
Do you-
think it would I think it would be fairly surprising if Stetson Bennett ended up being their franchise quarterback. He may or may not get a chance, but I think it would be fairly surprising.
and Cooper Cup. I mean, obviously his eighth year going into his ninth next season. It's like he obviously was pretty disappointed with his involvement. Wanted to improve that going into next season. Like, so that plays a big factor there as well. In the receiver room, you did just draft, a couple of good rookies, and your receiver room is pretty young. Your tight end room, you got Tyler Higbee, and I mean, but he's even getting up there. But then you got guys like Davis Allen and Hunter Long. Your offensive lineman room, you got two rookie centers, another rookie guard. Um, it looks like the offensive line room is fairly young, with the exception of Rob Havenstein, the 10th year pro out of Wisconsin, seasoned vet there.
Yeah,
And
Alaric Jackson as well. He's 26, so he's
I, so really, your biggest, yeah. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Yeah.
yeah, also Alaric Jackson, their left tackle. He's getting up there. He'll be going into his fifth season next year.
Yes. And then the defensive side of the ball for the Rams honestly is way younger. I mean, you got so many rookies on that defensive side of the ball, and then you
Yeah.
really don't really have any players that are like, you might have one or two players that are like up there, but fairly young on this defensive side of the ball. And like you said, Tad, a very powerful defense. So Specifically Kobe Durant, the third-year cornerback out of South Carolina State. Easily the best player on this team, Kobe Durant.
An astonishing take.
And yes, the name alone just makes it that way. No stats or anything. The special teams room, very young, including kicker Joshua Carty. Though, Tad, Joshua Carty kind of, I don't know. Do you think he had a solid enough rookie season?
I mean, he had a solid enough rookie season. I think he was fine.
Blake Corum was out. So, yeah, Tad, just a lot of things to ask yourself there. I would probably say more so on the offensive side of the ball for the Rams than anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Offensive side probably add some depth. Um, look if you can swing a quarterback, maybe even in free agency. Offensive line depth always helps. Yeah, I think they have some ways they can go.
They definitely have some ways that they can go. So now it's just up to them whether or not they want to fully go that way. And I mean, like you said, Stafford could come back, but
He
I
could
would say you probably need to start developing a future plan at that position.
either way. Yeah.
Either
I
way, yeah.
agree.
I didn't really have any other final thoughts or takes on Rams Eagles.
Yeah, me neither.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for amazing, great quality football content on the Gridiron Glory podcast. Be sure to catch us next week for special championship recap coverage and Super Bowl previewing. Thanks for watching.